Good afternoon, everyone. Today, my presentation is going to be on the invasion of Panama. Um, in the process of putting this presentation together and going through all my sources, I learned quite a bit on what caused the invasion and also the significant importance of why the Panama Canal played a big role in this invasion of Panama. Not only did I learn those two things, I've also found that the the things that was put in the newspaper, also which we would know in our history book, is really conflicted information that doesn't match some of the other sources that I was finding in order to put this presentation together. In some sort, to me, it seemed like it was more of a cover up for another agenda. The invasion of Panama took place on December 20th, 1989, and it ended in 1990. Prior to this invasion, we always had a foothold in Panama. We're talking about going back all the way to 1903. On the bottom here, you'll see some of the numbers of American soldiers killed and wounded, and Panamanian soldiers killed or captured. But the numbers were what on the Panamanian side was also civilians. That number was a big conflict to some of the other sources that I found also that was reported by General Clark, which was in charge of the invasion into Panama. Purpose of the invasion was to go into Panama and apprehend Manuel Noriega, who Bush claimed that was a dictator to Panama and also threatened the lives of U.S. citizens in Panama. Like I said before, we had a foothold in Panama since 1903 and until 1999. But how we got into Panama was basically because of the Panama Canal. And before the Panama Canal was built, the U.S. wanted to build a route through Colombia, a canal through Colombia, which was denied by Colombia. And at this time, Panama was also a territory of Colombia. So what the U.S. in terms did for Panama was help them get their independence from Colombia. And once that took place, the signing which we see here, the signing of the Buena-Vera Treaty, which authorized the U.S. to construct the Panama Canal in Panama. All right, prior to the U.S., France had tried to build a canal through Panama, but was unsuccessful due to a lot of death, running out of funding to continue the project. Majority of the workers died from malaria and yellow fever, making a process way through the jungle. All right, as I said before, Panama declared independence. The U.S. helped them to gain their independence. In turn, the Panama sold the U.S. a 10-mile strip of land, 50 miles long, to the U.S. for $10 million to go ahead and build this canal. Which the U.S. did was where the French had left off, the U.S. picked up from that point and continued the building of the Panama Canal. In turn, will pay Panama an annual annuity of $250,000 a year. The canal was completed in 1914 and was in full control of the U.S. During this time. After for a while, Panama wanted control of the canal, and that's during the Jimmy Carter president term. Panama signed a treaty with the U.S., which was called the Torrijos-Carter Treaty, which the treaty was to give back the rights to the canal to Panama. The treaty pretty much consists of Panama being able to maintain and occupy the canal, and also be responsible for all the maintenance and the protection of the canal from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast. In turn for Panama to be able to do that, they had to maintain a standing army, which we will see later when the U.S. invaded, demolished that army to where it wouldn't be able to continue to maintain and protect the Panama Canal at the end of this treaty. So you'll see where I was saying before, where some of these things seemed like there was conflict and a different agenda was being taken. At this time, Noriega was in power in Panama, and Noriega, which seems to me that was very conflicted. Noriega was on the U.S. payroll since the Jimmy Carter presidential term, all the way into Bush senior term. So he had went through Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, Bush while he was vice president into president, and also on the payroll of the CIA, then into the payroll of the DEA. So Noriega has always worked for the U.S. In some terms of providing information in all matters that was taking place in Central and South America. So pretty much all was going on in Latin America that the U.S. wanted to know anything about, it would go through Noriega. Before the invasion, as I said before, he was always on the U.S. payroll. Most of the time it was on the CIA side when Bush headed the CIA. During the invasion of Panama to remove Noriega, the numbers that I spoke to you before was quite different from the numbers that you see that's on the slide right now. According to the U.S. State Attorney General Ramsey Clark, it was between 2,000 and 4,000 casualties or death, and most of it was civilian. All right, and some of the sources that I read, the numbers was less than 200 soldiers, and the remaining was casualty that was taken, and there was a lot of cover up on the numbers of death that took place during this invasion. which I found that was very controversial. All right, the U.S. government justified this operation of invading Panama was to remove Noriega. Um, they the U.S. claimed that Noriega was a dictator and was a threat to the U.S. interests in Panama and also back home at the U.S. So, in order to get him out of power, the U.S. Um, wanted to indict him back to the United States for drug trafficking and many other drug related incident that affected the U.S. Right here in a lot of the sources that I've also read that made sense, and also being a U.S. soldier during the invasion of Iraq, um, this was invasion of Panama was the first big military invasion or conflict that the U.S. had participated in since the Vietnam War. And during this particular time, too, the Army new and innovated weapons and style of conducting warfare was taking place in Panama, as we would say the training ground up to Desert Storm in some sense. All right, finally, the U.S. Captured Noriega, but it was some things that took place before they actually got a hand on Noriega. The operation to capture Noriega was called Operation Nifty Package, which the Navy SEALs and other military units pretty much isolated Noriega, where he could not leave the island by sinking his boat and destroying his jets. And also there was a $1 million reward for his capture. The U.S. was secretly making deals with close members of the Panamanian Defense Force, which Noriega was head of. So a lot of his generals were secretly talking to the U.S. on giving them up, capturing and giving them up. The U.S. came up with a plan with his with some of the members of his of the PDF, the Panamanian Defense Force, to help capture Noriega. In some sense, it was almost like the plan that the U.S. did with the Cubans with the Bay of Pigs. These individuals eventually captured Noriega and was waiting to hand him over to the U.S. The U.S. did not stand on to their part of the bargain, which was to isolate the rest of the defense force from these individuals that captured Noriega, which in turn that these individuals that was close to Noriega was killed by other members of the defense force that was close to Noriega, and the U.S. lost the opportunity to take Noriega at this time. But Noriega was finally captured and handed over to the U.S. on June 3rd, 1999, which he was indicted back to the U.S. by the DEA. All right, as you see here, the flag of the U.S. was finally taken down on December 31st, 1999, where the U.S. gave all control of the Panama Canal back to Panama and remove its